Prepare for a roller coaster ride of feasts, treats and temptations, experiencing Germany's soul-stirring scenery, spirit-lifting culture, big city beauties, romantic palaces and half-timbered towns, bewitching scenery. There's something undeniably artistic in the way Germany's scenery unfolds, the corrugated, dune-fringed coasts of the north, the moody forests, romantic river valleys and vast vineyards of the center, and the off-the-charts splendor of the Alps, carved into rugged glory by glaciers and the elements. All of these are integral parts of a magical natural matrix that's bound to give your camera batteries a good workout. Get off the highway and into the great outdoors to soak up the epic landscapes that make each delicious, slow, winding mile so precious. Pleasures of civilization. You'll encounter history in towns where streets were laid out long before Columbus set sail, and in castles that loom above prim, half-timbered villages where flower boxes billow with crimson geraniums. The great cities, including Berlin, Munich, and Hamburg, come in more flavors than a jar of jelly beans, but all will wow you with a cultural kaleidoscope that spans the arc from art museums and highbrow opera to naughty cabaret and underground clubs. And wherever you go, Romanesque, Gothic and Baroque classics rub rafters with architectural creations from modern masters such as Daniel Libeskind, David Chipperfield, and Frank Gehry. Gastro delights. Ten best cities to visit in Germany. From modern, cosmopolitan Berlin to the medieval streets of Rothenburg ob der Tauber, there are many charming cities to visit in Germany, each with their own unique set of attractions, sights, and even cuisines. Not sure which cities you want to tick off on your visit to Germany? Here is our guide to the top 10 best cities to visit in Germany, in no particular order. One, Berlin. As the country's capital, you'll be pressed to find a German city more diverse than Berlin. With an estimated population of 3.7 million, Berlin is the European Union's second most populous city and is home to a wide range of people with truly diverse backgrounds and cultures. Though it may be a metropolis with an impressive city skyline and plenty of shopping options, 1/3 of Berlin is covered in lush forests, quaint parks and gardens, rivers, canals, and lakes. But of course, one of the city's main tourist appeals is its diverse history. A tour of Berlin will certainly include some monumental sites, such as the Berlin Wall, including Checkpoint Charlie, which is also one of the top tourist attractions in Germany, the Brandenburg Gate, the Holocaust Memorial, and a range of fascinating museums. If you're looking for a fancy car while exploring Berlin, please do check Motion Drive's sports car rental service. 2. Munich. Munich is the capital of Bavaria, a German state with its own unique culture. Bavaria is home to a range of traditions that are quite diverse from the rest of Germany, including Oktoberfest, a popular annual celebration that typically involves plenty of beer as well as traditional clothing like the lederhosen and dirndl. Munich can be found nestled within the Bavarian Alps, along with the River Isar. Visit this city for some of the world's best beer gardens, a couple of fairy tale palaces, the Residence and the Nymphenburg Palace, and delicious, fresh pretzels. Museum buffs will be particularly fond of Munich, which is home to over 80 museums celebrating everything from modern art to potatoes, yes, The vegetable. 3. Heidelberg. Heidelberg is one of the world's oldest student towns, hosting Germany's oldest and most well-known university, reflected in the city's youthful, energetic atmosphere. While a city by definition, Heidelberg is completely surrounded by lush forests, with the Neckar River winding through it, so you'll never feel far from nature. Be sure to visit the old bridge, beautiful in and of itself. It also gives spectacular views of the city, the partially restored Heidelberg Castle ruins, which is one of the most visited tourist attractions in Germany, as well, and the Sammlung Prinzhorn, a fascinating museum featuring art from psychiatric inmates from 1840-1945. 4. Nuremberg. Most famous for the Nuremberg trials, when 22 prime Nazi criminals were sentenced for war crimes, the city of Nuremberg has plenty to offer its visitors. Those interested in Germany's turbulent, dark past may wish to visit the Documentation Center, Nazi Party rallying grounds, a museum hosted in the transformed remains of the Nazi Party's former Congress Hall. Nuremberg also has a beautiful historical center, highlighted by its medieval castle and palace, Nuremberg Castle, and its ancient city walls. 5. Cologne. While rarely at the top of a German visitor's must-see list, Cologne is yet another of Germany's bustling, cosmopolitan cities, a true hub of culture and history. While much of the city's old buildings were destroyed by bombing during World War II, Cologne's Old Town opts to feature some very photogenic, colorful buildings and cobbled streets, which makes one of the best cities to visit in Germany. The one site you simply cannot miss in Cologne, however, is the Kölner Dom, the Cologne Cathedral, a cathedral in the High Gothic style featuring an impressive 56 pillars. Be sure to go inside and climb the South Tower for panoramic views of the city and the River Rhine winding through it. 6. Hamburg. Is there anything more beautiful than a port city? Hamburg is a magical city founded on the River Elbe and is Europe's second largest port. In fact, Hamburg has a lot going for it, as it is also one of Europe's biggest hubs for science, research and education. Arts and culture lovers will adore a visit to Hamburg, with its art venues, concert halls, Elbphilharmonie and Liszt's, musical shows and more. Also, well worth a visit is Hamburg's Miniature Wonderland, the world's largest model railway that takes you on a journey from Scandinavia to America and back again. 7. Rothenburg ob der Tauber. Though officially a town rather than a city, there was no way that Rothenburg ob der Tauber wouldn't find its place on our list. Walking through this stunning medieval town is like stepping into a time machine, as the city has remained virtually untouched since the 30 Years' War in the 1600s. While there is plenty to see just roaming the town's cobbled streets, Rothenburg ob der Tauber is also home to some unique museums, including the Christmas Museum, the Craft House, and the Doll and Toy Museum. Before you leave, be sure to climb the Rotor Tower for views of the town's arched red roofs. Don't forget your camera, as this town is picture perfect. 8. Bamberg. Bamberg is such a beautiful little town that it's been recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Scattered with buildings in the medieval style of architecture, Bamberg was designed by the German King Henry II to be a second Rome. While you won't find a Colosseum here, you will find plenty of ancient treasures to discover. Take a cruise across the River Renitz to see the half-timbered homes of what has been nicknamed Little Venice, formerly a fisherman's village. Also be sure to snap a photo of the old town hall, which sits smack in the middle of a bridge above the river. 9. Frankfurt. Frankfurt may be very commercially focused as Europe's largest financial center, but there is also plenty to see as a visitor to the city. Frankfurt's most popular tourist attraction is certainly its Altstadt, or Old Town, and its main square, Rothenburg. There you'll find Rummer, the iconic building reminiscent of a colorful gingerbread house that has been the city's town hall since 1405. Other popular sites in Frankfurt include Pimmengarten, a large botanical garden with impressive greenhouses, the birthplace of famous writer Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, and the Frankfurt Cathedral. 10. Dresden. Finally, we have Dresden, the capital of the state of Saxony. Dresden was another city that was heavily bombed in World War II, but much of its old town and many of its historic buildings were immaculately restored following the war. Dresden's pride and joy is most certainly Frauenkirche, a Baroque church famous for its large dome. Also worth visiting Arswinger Palace, inspired by Francis Versailles, Semperoper, the city's stunning, lavish opera house, and the restored Dresden Castle, which houses the State Art Museum.